I don't want to take credit for your drop time. Keep that by you.
That's good for shotgun and beers right there. That's what that drop time's for.
Actually, a good puncture.
Right. You could use either end of it.
Yeah.
Puncture and beers.
She's a real beaut.
I thought it was just a spike at first until
Shed?
you told me it's part of a bigger puzzle. It's like,
Yeah.
it's drop time.
That's part of it. We're still figuring out that deer.
If you find the rest, it'll be cool to piece it on. Are you going to glue it on? Have Mr. Antler Repair here do it?
Right. Ooh, I got a couple bucks that
I
could
think-
need a drop time.
Whoeure shoots a buck this year, we'll just add this to
tack
it.
that in here.
I'll
Let's do
figure out
this.
a way to. We'll just.
This drop time?
It goes on there.
Like how sexy would he
I
be?
got some duct tape.
It's a
That
good
looks real
color.
good right there. You can make that work.
I think a little super glue. No one even noticed.
No.
I mean,
no.
honestly, it doesn't have to be that good. Like, you look at that drop time and you're like,
It's like
That's
yeah, good one,
nature.
Derek. Yeah. Wow, yeah,
Phallic
real
symbol.
believable. Yeah, real
This is
believable on
the
that one, Derek.
OKest Hunter podcast. Never pass on shooter bucks, 'cause that's just meat in the freezer. It's your tag. You hunt how you want. This is OKest Hunter.
Not as good as the turtles that are upstairs, though.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back, or welcome to the OKS Hunter podcast. We're Gregless again
Gregless.
tonight. He's traveling. At this point, I'm just going to kind of get sad.
I feel like I'm with him though. His stories, and for those of you who follow him, he does a good job documenting his trips on his stories.
I do enjoy that. It's nice to know where he's at. It's like, where in the world is Tubbs? Well, you know.
But one day he's given like 5 different lectures, like on there.
That was
the
impressive.
plumbing stuff. This guy's teaching the world how to use
Yeah,
plumbing.
he
He's
cracked a couple
amazing.
jokes in there, too. I was, wow. If that was just an intro, I can't believe what the rest would be like.
Imagine attending one of those seminars.
I want to.
I
yeah.
might show up at one of those.
I want to get a schedule.
I'm just here to see the master perform. I don't want to learn. I'm supposed
I
to
don't
see
know
Greg
shit.
in his element. Yeah.
Professional
A
development.
couple dad jokes, you know those are.
Absolutely.
Speaking of, well, if you wanted to see Greg and Derek and any of us, Foam Fest is coming up
Yes.
August 31st, the last Saturday in August. Come on by to Horkin Marsh.
Horkin Marsh Bowman.
They've changed the name.
Horkin Bowman. I don't
Thank
know.
you. I think it's Horkin Marsh Archers. I think that's what it is now. It used to be Horkin Bowman. HMB, Horkin Marsh Bowman. Holy shit, I'm tired. I was up way late, just kind of breathing in those VOCs.
Oh, painting the floor.
From
Or
that.
just getting his floor ready for some new.
Just like was
It
like
looks nice.
looking at myself from above for a second, going, "You gonna finish this word, dumbass?"
Words. Yeah, you were doing a good job.
one of those out of body podcast segments.
Oh my gosh! We're
But
brought to
anyway, you
by
should come to Foam Fest.
Come to Foam Fest. You can try stuff, shoot stuff, do stuff, win stuff, drink stuff, all the stuff.
That was
That
the
was
best
nice.
one. That was
All right.
the
Yep,
best
that
one.
was nice. Got me.
I'm making a new shirt. I decided.
Foam Fest?
So no, I don't think people care about wearing a Foam Fest shirt. That brown hoodie that we have with that looks like your shirt with that diamond pattern on it.
Yeah.
We call that the diamond one, like a baseball diamond. That it's a dude. I'm having some serious struggles tonight, guys. That is a performance hoodie. What's it called? It's like a certain type of fabric, Sport Tech.
Okay.
It's a Sport Tech brand.
Synthetic. It's the wicking.
Yeah, but I've had it for like a year and a half, and it's just still my favorite go-to. It's so easy, doesn't shrink, it's comfortable, it stretches, it's all the things. And I just want that brown, but I just want to say deer stuff, and that's it.
That'd be cool.
Like
Deer stuff.
just because deer
Get on
do
with that.
deer stuff, and I think that could be fun. I want to wear that. I was like, I want to wear that right now.
That's a winner.
So I'm gonna like send myself one and see if it's any good, and then if it is, I'll open it up to anybody else that cares. Which, by the way, speaking of T-shirts, the deer hunting campaign trail that leads to the deer woods. If you want to know where you stand on the political spectrum, it's probably in a deer stand. So, like that shirt, bow hunting and venison for 2024, campaign slogan:
a
shooter
good one.
bucks
Which
and
is sweet.
backstraps. It's a shirt. You can go buy the shirt, but it's also going to be yard signs, and we're getting them made right now.
Are you getting actual yard?
Yes.
I'll take 16.
Dude, someone said they'll take 12. I'm like, we only ordered 50, so like, I don't think they're gonna last very long, and maybe we'll reorder more. If they sell out that fast, I'll do another order. But
that's all. I didn't know you were doing
I
that.
feel like that'd be.
Well, I saw your okayest neighbor sign.
Yeah, that was a gift.
You put that up. That
I
was
put
a
it up
gift,
in the
Todd.
yard.
That was a gift.
Somebody gave that. What was the story behind that?
I don't know her last name, but she came to Foam Fest last year.
Yeah.
That was
She
awesome.
had signs for all of us.
Yeah.
She said that, yeah.
That's so cool. I saw it. I'm like, I like that. That was cool.
I put it up 2 days ago.
Yeah.
I just found in our pile of stuff that we get, and I was like, shit. Here it is. And it's got this beautiful, nice note. Thought of you guys. Sent it over, and I was like, oh yeah, here this is. I was going through cleaning the room a little bit, and I found all this stuff. So I gave you 10 new shirts last week.
It was a pile. Gus is very excited for the Okayest Fisher sweatshirt.
Oh, good. Yeah. Anyway, we're brought to you by Nosler Ammunition. Go to Nosler.com. Use code OHP. So this is bad. I assumed our code is OHP for everybody, but for Rack Hub, it has been Okayest, and I have not known this whole time.
Which I messed up.
No.
Oh,
I messed it up. And have been messing it up. So if there's been no code redemptions, it hasn't been working for you. I'm really sorry about that. but it'll work now. And it is code OHP, and you can stack the discount for the next couple of days, I think.
20% off anything on Rack.
Well, it's 10%. You just go there to get 10%. But if you want 20, go ahead and toss that OHP code in there. You're stacking discounts, and you get. And if you look behind Derek, you can see that we talked about last week. There it is. You did that nice video showing the R2 that holds 2 antlers. I don't have any match sets, so like the R1 is perfect for me.
I'll make you something for Christmas.
Put a drop tine on my antler.
It'll be the other side with a drop tine.
Derek's just installing drop tines. If you want a drop tine on your buck,
if anybody has a buck that's just not doing it for you, and you'd like a little something extra,
Spice it up.
hit me up.
Yeah.
Ladies, a great Christmas present for your husband. Just sneak that mount down. And
what's
that might
old
not
song?
be build your own rack. Like put magnets all along
Oh,
there.
there you go. What's that old song? Throw some D's on that bitch. The D stand for drop tine.
Love the
throw
marketing.
some drops. Yeah.
Something wrong with that buck over there? Throw some D's on that bitch. Just starts blasting really loud every time. I'm just going to start showing bucks. And then, it's going to cut to that scene. There's going to be a fucking drop tine just haphazardly dangling there.
We've got the music video covered.
That didn't take long.
Creative
We're
genius.
just all hanging out with drop tines. Getting all close to the camera.
Wearing
like
deer stuff sweaters.
Deer stuff.
With the yard signs.
If someone could
Crossing
put
a lot of
together
items off the
an
list.
Okayest on our music video, I think we about got all the ingredients we need. We're just pouring bourbon on ourselves.
I'm glad you could be here to be a part of this.
It feels good.
It feels so good when he jokes.
So good when you took her up.
Oh, why don't you try getting jacked up under the table? We got some real problems.
That's where this came from. He's having some real problems.
He was having some problems.
Someone shot his fucking drop tine off.
Yeah.
That was the only thing getting me laid in the deer woods.
Ladies love this.
No, I don't have it. Damn it, Dale.
Ooh, big tough Dale.
You ain't so tough now that you drop tine, are you? Yeah, you and your snort weed sounds pretty stupid now.
Way less intimidating.
Nothing.
Do you think there's any deer that have a really weird sounding?
Yeah, I've
grunt,
seen
you
some
know,
videos of them.
And also, all the other deer are like, what the hell's wrong with you?
You ever hear a dog with that? It's like when it loses its vocal cords, like, "Har, har." It's like that. Oh, gosh. We have other sponsors and partners. You know who they are. Latitude, Spartan Forge. We just talked about Rack Hub. Go put the discount code to use. Save yourself some money. It's there for our listeners. Our partners are here anyways. I think we have one at Bear, but apparently now I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So I'm not really sure. Muck, I think we have one there. Bear, there. I don't know if something else rhymes there. I'm not sure what's going on anymore.
Can't get past the music video.
Throw some D's on, yeah. Got to put some money in that swear jar. I've been really cussing it up in here. Probably owe $50 to myself. What else? Dropping pins. Let's talk about that for 2 seconds.
Dropping pins. New podcast segment. First 2 episodes are out. There's one in the chamber that's been recorded
Monday. Yeah.
with our buddy Brian Douglas. Fun so far. Beau's going to be on there soon, hopefully. Got a list of people who are in the works for next week.
Okay.
So it's story based is what we're going for. Tell us a story. You know, we're going to get some hunters, some true big buck killers who share a few stories, whether those are successful or unsuccessful, just when learning moments happen that made you think a little bit differently about what you're doing in the woods and how big deer are using the woods. So it's been fun so far. This next one coming up with Brian, I really like what he did. He did a little homework. He understood the assignment and he came up with a location that he's hunted from like the beginning of his career when he really started trying to hunt bucks till now that he's killed like 4 different bucks in, but he had like 4 different stories all relating to one area and how like his perception of what was going on changed. So a really cool episode.
That's cool.
In my eyes. I thought it was good.
Just like anything you got to figure it out, it turns out there's more to learn. It's like reading a book 4 times.
Yeah.
You know, over the course of maybe 12 years, you're going to have a different POV of that book every time you read it.
Never had that problem.
No, neither. Not yet.
Oh yeah, you got a problem with books now?
Bucks, not books. That's his motto. There's another shirt for you. Bucks,
that's the ghost
greater than books.
Yes, motto.
Ghost books at his house.
Books are ghosts.
They don't.
Well,
Got like 2 of them from Steven Ranella, and that's about it. I've only read like 6 pages.
I
take it with me when I'm in all day sits, and I'm like, I'm definitely going to read this. And as soon as I start reading, I'm like, guaranteed something walk by. I didn't see it. Nope, not today, Steve.
Not today, Steve.
How dare you, Steve? Trying to distract me.
I know.
Doesn't he have a fucked up old tree stand book?
I have no idea. He's got a lot of.
Not on the tree
stuff
stand
out.
today, buddy. Not on this fucked up old tree stand.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Poor Steve. I'm sure his ego can take the hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be all right.
He'll be all right. Beau, tell us about what you got going on.
Like about all the ghost book stuff?
Yeah,
well,
or the thing on your hand, or anything
man,
you want to talk about. Whatever the hell you guys were just doing in the woods.
I guess we can get at this thing. Yeah, we'll get at this thing. So I was ice fishing. It was the weekend, actually.
Oh, I remember.
I think you guys, I had mentioned for you guys to possibly come up to my parents' place. There's an ice fishing tournament that goes on, and my buddy Scott came up. Derek's been up there the last couple years. Derek went out to Illinois shed hunting with Adam and Dave, I think, right? And we showed up, and my dad went out the day before, and there was a guy fishing really close to where we were going to fish. So Scott and I are like, you know what? We're going to get up super early. We're going to get out there. It's going to be really cold, but it's going to be making ice. The ice was a little sketchy. So we get out there, and you know when ice is making ice and it's popping everywhere, and it was wild. Like it just didn't stop. So we're out there. It's a full moon. Like we got out there early to catch smallmouth.
But big smallmouth
rather. And so we get out there. I drilled some holes or whatever. My dad comes out a little bit later, goes through a different spot. Scott and I are already fishing. And I'm like, dude, this just isn't cutting it. Like, I just want to move a couple holes. I'm just going to drill a couple more holes. So I ran over by my dad and I said, hey, can I use the auger that he had been using forever? So when I picked it up, he's like, yeah, go ahead. So I pick it up with this hand, and the battery was laying there on the other, like in the sled. And I didn't think anything of it. I thought he just took the battery out to conserve energy. So what happened was I started to take a couple steps, auger still in this hand, and I plugged the battery in. What he didn't tell me was that it was stuck on. So he took the battery off to stop it. So as soon as I plugged it in, it grabbed the leather. Torque. Yeah, it grabbed, and it, like, I can attest, it's powerful. Like, as soon as it went, like the battery clicked in and it just went full speed. Like now in the ice fishing gloves I have, that leather is real sticky on the bottom.
Okay.
So if I wasn't wearing gloves, it would have just free spun in there. But it just grabbed my glove and just like kept twisting, and I just felt a huge pop. And I don't remember what happened next, but like the auger was on the ground, my glove was off, and I just remember grabbing my hand and feeling my thumb laying across the back of my hand.
Oh no.
So I'm like, shit, I dislocated it. Like I need to put it back. So like I grabbed it, like I didn't have any pain yet. So I just grabbed it and gave it a pull. But instead of feeling it separate near the joint, I just felt the whole thing kind of just move. And I'm like,
uh-oh.
Yeah, that's not good.
Did you puke?
No, it really didn't hurt.
Just the thought of that makes me feel
crazy. Yeah,
I hate seeing that kind of shit. So he sent me a picture, and his thumb was just hanging down. I was like, "Please don't send me any more pictures."
Yeah, it was nasty. So then I went to the ER, and they shot it up. They did like 6 or 7 shots in there, and then like the doctor kind of pulled it, and then put a temporary splint on. And I went back out ice fishing. For the
Oh my
rest of the
God!
day.
Shut up.
Yeah. We did really well. We caught quite a few smallies. It's really hard to do though, because Scott was sitting across from me, and every time I would set the hook, I couldn't reel it because my hands stuck in my jacket. So I'm still just like slowly putting pressure on it. By the time he comes over, he's like, "You realize how stupid you are?" Scott slayed the smallies though that day. So yeah, and then I had surgery 2 days later, and then so that was in February, and then last week I had another surgery on it. So they removed all the hardware. My thumb was kind of stuck bent. And the extensor tendon was stuck to a screw. So they removed that, cleaned the tendon up.
Can you shoot your bow? Like,
I don't know. I will. It's just a matter of how bad it hurts.
It will happen.
I'm in that struggle zone right now.
Yeah. It's going to be a game time decision, I think. But already it feels better where that plate was that they took out.
Okay.
So I think it's going to be okay. But if I grip anything, like I can't open a Ziploc bag. Like it's pretty brutal.
And you being a physical therapist, you understand the mechanics of muscle,
Right?
probably better than most.
Yeah.
And the hand is pretty vital to his job to help activate people's muscles and feel for tendons. So
Yeah.
Dude, I had that's terrible, the whole thing. And I'm very hopeful that you'll be fine.
I think it'll be good. Yeah, it'll be good. Like I said, I already have less pain than I did prior to like last week Monday. Like I could take my hand and I could wiggle it, and I could feel stuff shift in there, like prior to the surgery, and it was still broken in half. But there were like 6 or 7 pieces that did heal, that just didn't.
Jeez.
So, but we're good. So I had a couple. That's why I'm here. We have I have work off until next week Wednesday, and then back at her. So that's where we found this drop tine.
Yeah, so that's what we
Derek.
were talking about today. I said, Beau, you're probably my only friend who's ever called me mid-July and said, hey, do you want to go in the woods?
Yeah.
So that's what we did before podcast today.
Yeah.
Beau made the trip down. We did a little walking, a little scouting, covered some miles, and just spent a whole day sweating and swatting deer flies.
Mm-hmm.
And we loved it.
Good times.
It was good. We looked for a couple places where we thought people wouldn't go, and so I picked a spot when we went, and where I'm like, I don't think anybody's going to go here. Derek, on the other hand, made sure to get a spot that nobody would go to, so he trumped me on that one.
What?
Like when we went to your spot, like the spot, I was like, well, nobody probably goes there. You just know nobody goes where you are.
Yeah, so I sprung one on Beau because I was like, this area I've hunted before is where I wanted to go, but it's a large area, right? And on the way down, I just kind of said, well, Beau, I want to go somewhere I haven't gone yet. Take a look at the map, pick a spot, any spot you want, and we'll go look there. So put a little pressure on him, and he pulled through, as he always does. We literally made it like 150 yards from the car, and we're in an overlook spot right by the road that he thought was going to be a spot where no one would be, and it was the best sign we found all day. It was a really good sign.
Yeah, it ended up being a lot better than what we had anticipated too.
Yeah, it was. There's definitely a big deer in there hanging out. We found his bedroom, mega rub cluster,
And his drop time.
and his drop
So
time.
that's from today.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't want to shoot him last year with that missing, but this year, hopefully, it regrows back double D's. Throw some D's on that. Now, he's right for the picking.
Those are some goals.
I don't even know what that song's called. I'll find it by the end and I'll play it as our outro.
Oh, that'd be great.
I had a thought here. I'm stuck on the physical therapy stuff a little bit
Oh yeah.
because I'm concerned about my bow. And I don't know, you would know more about this than I would possibly imagine, but allegedly, according to my physical therapist, there's a nerve stuck in my elbow,
Oh sure.
which she'd like look up in her book. She's like, oh, yeah, I think that's what it is. Okay, so we're going to do. And that's been resolved. She did whatever the hell, dry needling, all this moving of muscle tissue with her hands around. And so actually, as of like yesterday, I felt like I was back to 80 to 90% coming from like a 30.
Oh yeah. I see where this is going.
And I'm like, this is incredible.
And then you painted.
Friday, I was like, was when all the adjustments happened.
That tiny brush.
By Sunday, I'm feeling great. Yeah. And I moved a couch
Oh, boy.
yesterday and painted.
There's a hamstring cramp.
Karma, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
There was.
Starts laughing at
We
me.
should have went to
Oh,
that
there's my
second
leg.
spot.
If you guys see me all of a sudden out of frame, I'm laying on the floor crying.
What the hell is going on? Drink some beer.
I know what's going on.
We need some water. It's a bush light.
So now I woke up this morning and it's I don't know what this muscle is here. The back scapula.
There's a few of them back there.
Something back there is right. I can't even look to the left right now.
Oh, yeah. Then it's probably referred from your neck more than your scapula.
And I'm like, uh-oh. So I'm like, come on, I thought I was in the clear. And I didn't mean to do too much. It's just like what I had to do yesterday. I was like, well, but I feel great. I hope I'm in the clear. I might do like 1 or 2 more sessions. She's like, it's like if you spun around on a bat and you got all dizzy and you didn't know where to go. I'm just kind of like saying you need to go that way. Like your body now can figure the rest out. I think I got most of this shit figured out that you can handle it from here kind of thing. But if it gets kittywampus, like come on back.
Mm-hmm. Was it all that hand or is it on your right one too?
No, it's all left.
Oh, nice.
So it's like extended type of grip. This couldn't do it. Then tricep hurts on drawback, shoulder hurts, and now I have this hurting. And so now it's like it's like moving up my arm, like whatever's happened.
Which isn't a bad thing if it's a nerve.
So maybe that's what
you want it. Like we call it centralization, right? So like if their symptoms are down further, it's not a good thing. If they come up closer to the neck, like the source of where it's probably coming from, that's usually a good thing.
Fascinating. I feel like I just need a good massage or some weed and whitetail. I don't know. Man, like I'm just
maybe both of those.
Give me something
Stop
for the pain. Just put me out of my
probably.
misery. This episode's titled Whitetail Fever. And, I say that because something has changed in the general climate of, I think, our minds after the 4th of July. Like it was like, ooh, I'm going to get my cell cams or trail cams out. I'm going to start like there's a really nice buck in our neighborhood.
The picture you sent the other day?
I was like, look, he's not huntable at all. Like I can't, he's not a legal.
Now you cut down your best tree in the front yard.
I saw another
that.
big buck last night.
Like, what are you doing? The windows don't even shoot in. I did see that though. You know, so those bird feeders were right there. I was he cleared a shooting lane.
That's another shirt design I want to make. I want to make a shirt design with a big, huge buck with the bird feeder and just it says yard buck. But I'm like, ooh, I don't know. Does anyone buy that shit?
I would.
Yard buck. Like what do they call yard chickens? Or what do they call that when you go to a Mexican restaurant? They call it a...
Oh, I don't know.
Yard bird? Yard bird. Maybe that's what it's called. Like there's a taco called the yard bird at some Mexican restaurant. I'm like, yard bird? Well, it's a chicken. I'm like, well, that's funny. What is a yard buck then? Does anyone know what the hell I'm talking about?
Well, my wife does. We go to Illinois 2020. I shot a really nice, like 170s 10, and we come back, and my wife literally goes, why do you drive all the way to Illinois? Like, we had a buck bigger than that in our backyard.
I can't hunt that one.
Yeah, I legally can.
Oh, yeah, okay, well, there you go.
But, so another quick story. So I had that buck. It was that year, 2020. It was in my backyard, and I'd always fed him or whatever in there. You can in Brown County, and I never anticipated shooting one. And then all of a sudden, a 170-inch buck comes, and I'm like, huh. I'm gonna go talk to my neighbors and see if they'd care. So I went and talked to all my neighbors. They're like, I don't care. Like, they eat over flowers, shoot whatever. So I called the DNR, and they're like, yeah, you just have to be from an elevated.
Yards?
100. It's 100 yards from every
from your house.
living place or whatever.
Okay.
From the stand to that. So like, I have a tree.
Even your own house? Doesn't that factor in differently?
You don't have to be. They said it's not a certain distance from that.
Okay.
So, like, legit, my stand was 15 feet off of my deck, and I had it up there for a while. I had a number of nice bucks coming through. So I get up there, and it was like a 20-degree day, snowstorm, and I have this second buck, like a 140s 8, comes in, and I look around, and I see my neighbor over here snow blowing. This neighbor snow blowing, and I'm like, yep, bud, you get a pass. I'm not going to do this. I'm like, I just can't do it.
Too weird.
Yeah, like he came in between my kids' swing set, and I'm like, nah.
You look in the window, Paw Patrol's on. Like, oh, I like this episode.
I know, I had him pause it. Yeah.
Breakfast is served.
Yeah. Guys, Dad's busy. Yeah.
I have my bow rope down, honey. Could you just attach a plate with some bacon? Just pull it.
Your wife's just watching you from the window, drinking her coffee. It's like, so this is what you do when you hunt?
Yeah.
Well, what I just
this is
here,
real entertaining. Yeah. So after that, I'm like, yeah, those bucks get a pass back there. There's a lot of people in the neighborhood that hunt them, though.
I bet. I mean, that's the whole thing. The urban hunting is the thing. We have a caller. He's been holding for like 8 minutes. I didn't realize he's there. It says his name's Dan, and he needs some hunting advice. Let's bring him in.
It's the owner of the drop time.
Hey, Dan, you're live on the show. You got some questions? What do you got going on?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, how's it going, Dan?
Hey, Dan.
Can you hear us okay?
Yeah. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Cool. Just okay as hunters, I figured you guys have some good advice for me. as good as any of the guys out there for somebody that's not one of the pros, but I think I've got less experience and less time in than all of you guys. And you may also remember me from that the guy who was what was it, Eric? The something plug. I'm trying to remember what you called me on the shameless plug. Oh.
You said plug. I went a different way.
I did too.
I was thinking something
I was like,
totally
oh man,
different.
I don't think you can talk about
I might have blacked out and said something I might regret.
Yeah.
Dan, I would like you to tell me more about what Eric said about the plug.
About the graphic designer
Oh
thing.
yeah, Dan. No, you're right. I gave you a shameless plug on the Nosler episode because you're a hell of a graphic designer.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think I might have said photographer on the episode, but I do thank you for clarifying. And now I know who I'm talking to. It just took me a second. Half the time I'm trying to figure out if you're a prank caller or not when you call into the show. So
I could see your eyes. You were thinking prank.
it just takes me a second.
I got you. Yeah, I'll admit it. I kind of locked up and got a little nervous in the moment when all of a sudden I had to start talking, and I was like, "Oh crap! Now what do I say?"
Oh, shit, I'm live. It's like a real radio show. You sit there until you're like, "Oh, good, they picked my call."
This is a good idea. This is a good idea. This is a bad idea.
Yeah, this is definitely a bad idea. But the thing that's worse about it than a radio show is everybody's going to hear it eventually, and I'll be able to go back and they can
forever. Yes.
play it back. Fun of me forever. Yes, exactly.
No pressure.
You're in good company. We'll get made fun of before you do. I promise.
Oh, that's good. I guess I don't know. I don't know what I was going to say, but hey, thanks for the opportunity to call in. This is awesome.
Yeah. So, do you have a question? You got two big buck killers right here. I mean,
no, there's one. There's a guy who likes to hang out with the big buck killer.
Yeah, and then I get lucky sometimes and kill a 130 something.
That's a good place to be.
Sweet.
I will be totally honest as far as that. No, I totally lied there too. I didn't have a question at all as far as how to hunt deer because I don't know. I'm just figuring it out as I go. And I was like, well, they want some callers. I'm going to call in and, hopefully come up with something worthwhile.
This sounds like a deer hunt. This sounds like I'm making it up as I go.
This is
and
what you do when you go in the woods.
And then eventually I'll figure it out as it happens. And then the moment it happens, I'm like, was I supposed to shoot that thing? Or?
Was that the moment?
He's looking at me. What do I do?
What I've been waiting for? Shit.
This is exactly how a deer hunt goes for a typical OKS hunter. This is great. This is a great call.
Absolutely. I did have a thought on something that I thought would be kind of cool. Is not necessarily like a question on how best to hunt deer necessarily, but like what would you guys do if you're presented with a situation type of thing? So I myself am definitely an OKS hunter, and I'm only 5 years in. But so I've got a cousin that's out in Utah. He's graduated. A certified helicopter pilot out there, and he's always flying around seeing elk and moose and mule deer and all this. Well, so we went out, my wife and I and our kids went out there a couple of years ago and got to see him and hang out with him and snowmobiling and all that stuff. And I was like, we saw some mule deer while we were out there as well. I always told him, we need to get out here, man, and shoot some mule deer. And now I get a text from him the other day. Hey, I've got a tag, and he's actually got unlimited mountain lions with it as well in that area of Utah. So it falls right in the same period as the time when I would normally be, coming in pre-rut here in my home Missouri area. So what would you guys do if you had this opportunity come up? And like, I haven't even had time to look into this much at all, but I'm just curious on kind of the thought process of, it's obviously a worthwhile thing to try and progress your skills. A lot of people talk about all the time, if you have a chance to go travel hunt, do it, because you learn so much, putting yourself in a completely
Especially
different situation,
from a helicopter.
surroundings.
You're looking at a serious advantage there.
Yeah. I've seen it done with pigs, never mule deer, though. Yeah.
They just don't film those.
The rut's like sacred to me. I have a really hard time letting go of that, but I think I would be down for an experience if I could do it guilt-free. For me, that's my own. I'm always going to feel guilty leaving the family behind.
Go 100%.
Yeah. You're only going to gain knowledge on what you're going to do on that, right? Like you're going to do different tactics that you won't be able to do in the
You might discover something else you love more.
Right.
You will.
Yeah, absolutely. But it'd be tough to continue. It'd be tough to go after mule deer back here in St. Louis, but maybe eventually. Yeah, it's also kind of a situation where I have almost no time to try and get set up with a rifle for this. I'm so amateur and so unprepared for all of this. So I may end up even just going along and being there in case he needs some help packing something out and just being along for the experience. But even if it comes to that, it's going to be absolutely awesome. But yeah, I am definitely struggling a little bit with the do I stay back and hunt the rut here? My family's actually going to be gone with our kids fall break type of thing, so it's kind of cool to have a choice, but at the same time, get a little locked up with both. Paralysis by analysis. So interested in other opinions.
My recommendation would be to 100% go. I think you should go to Utah and experience it. See if it's something you'd want to do again, because that could turn into something that you do yearly, and who knows, you might find another time of year to go hunt mule deer. One of the cool things about Utah and mule deer hunting is you're just getting started. So I'm assuming you're going on a rifle hunt, but their bow season for mule deer opens very early. I'm talking like August dates. So it might be something that you can do before you can even hunt whitetail, further down the road. I think it's an awesome opportunity. I do have one piece of advice for you with the rifle thing. If you're going to end up, if you're scratching around for a rifle, my biggest piece of advice was, if you borrow one, which is a great option from someone, make sure you shoot it and practice with it really, until you're comfortable with it. Because I have heard horror story after horror story about somebody not knowing a borrowed rifle, and then you didn't know that the bolt had to be all the way down before you squeezed and it wouldn't go off. And so just make sure you practice with it, so you know the rifle and how it works.
Absolutely. Yeah. So my cousin that's out there, he's like, man, you can borrow one of my guns. But fact is, I wouldn't be there unless, it's the day before, go to a gun range or something and practice with it. But, I guess that's what it takes.
Yeah, and you got to do that. Yeah, for sure.
Take the time to do it.
It's important, especially you know the animal, the ethics of the situation too. Like, you don't want to have a bad shot that you're unfamiliar with how it's going to land. Like, you might have it right where it needs to be pointing, and the bolt's going to go somewhere else. So, because you're going to get it different.
You just hear mishap after mishap when people borrow one and they haven't used it before. It just seems to never turn out well. So I'm just trying to save you from the headache.
And even if it's your own, make sure you shoot it.
Yeah.
Because there's been a couple times where we made that trip to Illinois, and it doesn't seem like you're hitting any potholes or anything that is going to throw your bow off. But I'll get there at 1 a.m. and I'll turn my headlights on and shoot at least at 20 yards, just real quick, or right away before I go in the morning. Otherwise, it's like you waste all that time. You spend so much time, and then you get there and then you shoot because your bow was off or your gun was off. Like, it's easy to prevent
when it's something that would have taken just a little bit of time, but you could have prevented.
Well, then you find yourself being very confused. Well, what the hell went wrong? Everything was great. Everything was fine. Well, was it though?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then you're questioning yourself. You lose confidence. You don't tell what's going on, and then you shoot afterwards. You go, oh, looks like I'm off, but that could have been prevented.
Right.
Kind of thing. Yeah, that's a good idea. Well, Dan, thanks for calling in, and I got to get back in touch with you here and jam out on the my tag, my hunt, fulfill my tag thing that we talked about earlier. So
absolutely, looking forward to that. Wrapping up this boat restore project that I've been working on all year, so I should start getting some extra time, hopefully just in time before hunting season. So
you following OK Fisher on Instagram by any chance?
What's that?
Have you been following OK Fisher on Instagram? Because Greg Tubbs just did a boat restoration
I will start. I have I'll add it to the.
Yeah, he's been posting about it left and right. He did he did battery relocation, got rid of live wells, replaced.
He took out like all the underdecking of his older boat and then rebuilt it all, recarpeted it.
Wow.
What type of boat is it exactly? Do you know?
I want to say it's like a 21 foot. It's an older boat. It's like a 1973. It's, like a big open back end. It's for basically fishing larger bodies of water. It's not like
Lake Michigan. And
yeah, it's capable of doing Lake Michigan on a nice day. And I've been out on it a couple times. We've caught some fish on it. And I know Greg just it needed to be reworked a little bit. There were some rotting boards and whatnot. And he just kind of reset things up the way he wanted it. Greg's good at that. He's a tinkerer and he's very detail oriented and fine
take the time
to
do things right.
He does. Not like me.
Good enough.
I'm like zip ties and duct tape. He's like rivets. I'm like, good luck.
Does it float? Kind of. Good enough.
For a while.
Just get a live one on the bottom of the boat.
Yeah, check it out, man. Thanks for following along, and thanks for the call. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
See you, Daddy.
Have me on.
You bet.
Bye.
I'm glad it wasn't a prank. I can see all the call history, and I've been using this software for 6 years or something. I have history on everybody. If you've called into the show in the last 6 or 7 years, I know about it, and it'll tell me. And so if it's someone that's never called, if it's a first-time caller, and I don't have that call log to validate, I'm like, ooh, we don't know.
High alert.
Yeah, we don't know. And we have a lot of contextual prank callers, but traditionally they've been contextual. So they'll lead you in with like this. I got this hunting story.
Oh,
I missed those. Those were
we had the one dude from Florida that would call in our new alias every time. The same number, but he would change his alias.
He had different accents. He was really good.
Wow.
Like, really good.
Is it okay if I kill gators at night down here in Florida? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, man, whatever you want to do.
I don't know, man. Your tag.
He'd be like, hey, I'm sorry, boys. John, roll down the window. Oh, that's a big one. And like he had all these scenarios.
Wow.
Really well done.
Do you know the best way? He's like, let's hunt a tip I got. And he's like calling us in from Alabama or something.
Yeah.
He's like, spotlight at night.
Works every time.
Yeah.
You're thinking he's got some really great tip. And then he leads with that. I'm like, shit.
Oh, man.
You got me, you son of a bitch.
Down where we hunt near that diner bar gas station that we always go
to. Oh,
to.
yeah, the diner bar gas station.
Love that one. There's a Mexican one of those not far from here.
They sell fireworks.
I'm sure they do. They sell a lot of things. So we go there for 2 years in a row, and there's this old guy every time that we go in there, and he's sitting there and he's playing. I think there was a slot machine.
There's some slot machines at those places. Those are good ones. You can win on those.
Yeah. So he was playing them, and he goes, "You boys out hunting?" We're like, "Yeah." And he goes, "You want to know what works the best? You got to take that crunchy peanut butter, scoop it all up, and slather it on a tree." He said that'll get them every time. And he told it. For 3 years in a row, every time we saw him, "You boys out hunting?" He would tell us the same thing over and over.
It's deja vu.
6 cases of peanut butter later.
I was going to say, how much did it take?
Reminds me of my dad told me to dump applesauce and apple juice on trees.
Yeah.
Spraying on trees like this. Like he's going to start the woods on fire with applesauce. It's going to look like, when someone's dumping gas on things in a movie?
Sure.
It looked like that, but you're trying to bait deer.
Right.
Back in the day, we used to bait at the cabin, Nicolay National Forest.
This is when it was legal. Yeah, same. My dad would get buckets of apples.
And you'd hear, but anything apple, you'd hear all these, try this new product. That they all had like molasses in it or sweet. Mm-hmm. I get so excited. You put the camera on it. Next time you go there, camera's ripped off. Oh,
bears.
Oh, it turns out bears really like apples.
And molasses.
Right. So
and anything sweet. So
you're
better
really
off
does
not
like
doing
honey.
any of that.
Oh, yeah.
God.
Yeah, don't combine the corn and the molasses. Like when I was bear hunting, all of our baits went absolutely just dormant. And then all of a sudden we just added a molasses and corn mixture. Picked right back up. And I'm like, what? How is that possible? A guy that my dad knows shot a couple big bears from the Anago area. And he's like, try corn and molasses. We're like, really? That doesn't, we have donuts. Like, why would we do that? And he was like, just try it. Sure enough.
Yeah, what are you going to hurt? Try it. Just try it, right? It's not working out. Try something new, see what happens.
Yeah.
Save the donuts for yourself.
Yeah. I've been guilty.
So
it's 2 days old.
Now that, really the fever has set in. It's like, I can't turn it off. So we're seeing bucks in the neighborhood. I'm freaking the fuck out, doing all crazy shit. I got my platform and tether stuck in the tree right now, so I've been shooting. Well, trying to get shooting more. I just need to figure out what's going on with this bullshit, so I don't make it worse. But nonetheless, it's like it's all I want to do. You guys are in the woods. I'm jealous that I wasn't out there with you. That's saying a lot because I fucking hate mosquitoes a lot. And
the
that
flies
would
are bad.
The mosquitoes
miserable. Weren't that bad. Deer flies were in the last spot.
That's bad too, though. Like I don't deal well with that stuff.
The last spot.
I get really mean and crabby. Really mean and crabby. It's a side of me that you guys, I mean, especially you, Bo, like Derek, you've never seen the side of me yet.
No.
Holly has seen it, and my buddy Greg has seen it.
I tried to see it. I took him to a spot where we had to carry.
Was that with the canoe?
Yeah, like 500 yards through open grass.
That was nothing.
And he was just like, "Hey, look, we should keep going." I was like, "Who is this guy?"
That was nothing.
If I
get tired, it's not good. This is not a hunting story. We were playing airsoft guns at this old abandoned warehouse in Milwaukee. I don't think it was abandoned. It was like rent. Is this like a legit thing or something you just did? Me and my buddies had all these airsoft guns. My one buddy knew this guy that had a warehouse.
Oh,
and it's actually it's a brewery now. It's like it's right by the Iron Horse in Milwaukee. There's a brewery right there. I think it's like I forget what it's called. It's like some crowdsourced brewing company. Anyway, back then it wasn't, and it was just a bunch of shelves and shit and stuff everywhere. So we'd get a fogger, turn the lights off, get a red light on a magnet, and we play capture the flag with airsoft guns.
Wow.
We had every kind of airsoft gun you can imagine. We had snipers, we had machines, we had pistols, and we would fucking play like full on capture the flag, like real life Call of Duty stuff.
Sounds fun.
It was great. One night we played till like fucking 1 a.m, and the guy's like, "All right, we got to pick up all the BBs." I was like, "That's stupid. You're funny." He's like, "I'm not kidding. I'm not supposed to be here." I was like, "What, dude? We shot thousands of BBs. What are you talking about? It's 1 a.m. I'm tired. There's fog everywhere from the fog machine. Like, I'm not picking up all these BBs. Like, get fucked." I picked up a few. I was like, "Here, got the obvious ones."
16 hours later.
I was so upset. So we're driving.
Like what my toddler would do if I told him to pick up his room, right?
You can see all of those. You just have to back up.
And then so I drive my buddy home, and we're on the way. And we're like, finally, I was going to sleep at my place, in my apartment. And I was like, he's going to crash on the couch. I'm like, at this point, it's almost 3 a.m. And I'm past the point of tired. I'm done. And so his girlfriend, who's now his wife, calls. She's like, "Hey, I really want you to snuggle with me," or whatever the fuck she's saying. And he's like, "Hey, man, can you bring me to my girlfriend's house?" And it's like a different town.
Not where you're going.
I was like, you gotta be kidding me, right? And then he started dozing off. I was like, wake up right now. I was like, "You don't sleep in my freaking car if I'm up driving, and you gotta make me do." I was like freaking out. I was like losing my. She's like, "Jesus Christ, man! Like, what's going on?" I was like, "You better wake the fuck up. You better wake the fuck up right now. Bring her to your fucking girlfriend's house, piece of shit."
Well, I'll bring her to your girlfriend's house.
I was
open the door, just kick him out in the ditch. So tell her I said hi.
My wife saw that side of me one time because we were like,
drinking. One time?
Yeah, I think one time I had that. It's a certain version of me. It's a certain version of me.
Wow.
We were like out in town, and I was, whatever. Just we were drinking, but we hadn't been drinking that much. And she, in her mind, she had been. So she's like, "We need to stay down here. We can sleep in the car." And it was like 3 a.m. I was like, "I'm not sleeping in this fucking car. We're going home." Just started losing my shit, just picking fights. Just get in the car. We're going home. I'm not sitting here anymore. We're done. I was like losing it. So if I get too tired, I like crossing. So flies will do that to me. Tattoos will do that to me. I got a tattoo once. It's done. I finished it, fortunately. But
it's probably a good thing you didn't go.
The guy's like, "Do you want me to finish it? Do you want me to take a break?" I was like, "If you fucking stop, I'm gonna have a problem. Like, get it done. Get it done. I'm sorry. I'm so mean to you. This is so painful. I can't tolerate. You need to don't stop again. I swear to God, if you stop and I get used to the comfort of it, I'm just gonna."
What I feel like this is we recently just rewatched Deadpool, and like it takes a certain amount of torture to get him to mutate.
Oh, okay. Is that what
this is like? A certain amount, I can't handle it. Mutate.
That might be it. Yeah, deer hunting's good for my soul, though. I won't have those meltdowns and fits and breakouts when I am in my zen place. But the horse flies and mosquitoes will do that to me.
There's one situation in deer hunting with others that'll bring me to that place. And it's when someone shoots one and they're not sure about the shot and it's iffy, But then some guy's like, oh, yeah, we should go get it right now. Like, let's go. And, like when you get a couple people in a group, it's really easy to persuade them to do stupid shit.
Well, especially after you shoot one.
Oh, and
you just need one
to be like,
ounce.
You got it. You got it. And you're
you know what?
Yeah,
that was way better.
You know what? That was a double lung,
Yeah. No, I saw it. I
thought it was sticking out of the leg, but it was the angle. Up in there.
It was the angle.
There was pretty good penetration. There was this much.
It skipped it off that rock and went right into the chest cavity.
But you've seen that before. And it takes one person who like pushes this idea. Oh no, we're not going to go in the morning. Coyotes. Let's go right now.
Yep.
And then
that was my buddy Joel, and I got this one. Joel's like, let's go right now. And I was like, Joel, everyone said to wait. Everyone said to wait. And Joel's like, what are you talking about? Let's go. And I was like, okay. I think the other guy was going to be pretty mad at me. And I think you had expressed explicitly.
I did on the phone. On like 4 phone calls.
See, he was on the verge.
I was like,
you knew.
I don't want to run this car in the ditch, but I will. I was driving back from Illinois.
I think I remember hearing this.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's
and
right.
he shot. That's when he shot.
Yeah, because you called me after like, you talked to him.
Then I'm calling Greg. I'm like, Greg, tell him if he's not sure, he can't go in. It's daylight. He shot it. Like, just let it go. Greg's like, I'll tell him. Tell him. I'm gonna call him.
Greg, he did, and then I was like, Derek made it pretty clear, Greg. You don't have to reiterate.
Yeah.
And it turns out everything was great. The deer did not go far,
right away.
Right?
Yeah.
But guess what? He was still there.
I bet you
he was still there.
I went and retrieved my arrow though, which was like not far from. It was only a 15, 20-yard shot or whatever it was, and I was investigating. And I think in doing that, I heard him get up and go.
Oh, really?
He might have died quicker if I wouldn't have even done that. And then I was panicking. I'm like, oh no, I messed the whole thing up. I didn't hear him cross though or any of that. So I just, who knows what happened there? He died. That's what happened. We know what happened. But you're right. It takes one guy to just be like.
This morning, I'm home with the kids. So we watched a couple kid shows. And then the kids started playing. I had my coffee. I made them breakfast. I had a cup of coffee. I put on a hunting show. And in the hunting show, I think they were in Wisconsin. The guy shoots a buck and his buddies are hunting so close to him. I don't remember the name of the show. I don't. I just saw Wisconsin Public Land Hunt. I'm like, oh, cool. Let's check it out.
Yeah, that's like from 3 years ago probably or something.
Oh, yeah, it was from a while ago. Yep. And I was like, okay, cool. And the guy's in his stand giving like his little interview and he can hear someone yelling. He's like, oh my God, I think those are my buddies. He was going to rattle at 6:00 and now they're all yelling. So like he gets a phone call, got him. His buddies got him. They're screaming and hollering. And my son is like, why were they yelling? And I was like, well, they were excited, but I tell him all the time, the rule in the woods is you should be quiet. You're always quiet. I'm like, they're probably excited. Maybe they shouldn't have been yelling, but they were just really excited. So then like he goes and meets up with them and the story totally changes. We're not exactly sure where we hit him. He was behind a tree. He kind of ducked weird. And then I'm like, then he looks at me the same time I'm looking and my son is like, maybe they shouldn't have yelled. And I was like, no, they shouldn't have yelled. You're absolutely right. They don't even know. Then they're watching it and like they got like 6 guys watching it on the phone. And one guy's like, oh yeah, but look at this. And the other guy's like, no, dude, you hit him in the shoulder. He dropped and moved his shoulder back and your arrow's only sticking, like it only went in a little bit. And the other guy, oh no, I think you got full penetration. You're good. Like the guy's like, 100% don't go. And he was like very adamant. And I was like, yes, thank you. Like, don't go. Like they shouldn't have yelled. They went out there, 6 guys the next day, never found the deer.
Oh, no.
And I was like, see, Gus, my son, that's why you don't yell in the woods.
Exactly.
I saw an episode of The Hunting Public where Zach got one, but I think he watched it go down and he screamed.
Oh, yeah.
Super loud. And I was like, that was kind of cool.
In Kansas, when my dad shot that big one, I heard him scream.
It wasn't a big one.
Yeah. So I was 12 years old. Now, I was very...
How old are you now?
35.
Okay, so you're not 13.
Not 13. Yeah, this wasn't last year. Things would have played out different. So we go down. First, we went to Iowa, right? And then we went to Missouri. And my uncle calls and he's like, whatever you guys have going on, you need to drop what you're doing and come to Kansas. He goes, I have permission on this property. You'll never see anything like this. He said from the gate back to where the cabin is, he said, I saw 30 Pope and Youngs. And we're like, they're okay. Like, so my dad's, and he's adamant. He's like, guys, like leave Iowa, leave Missouri, wherever you are, come. So we go and we hunt there and just, it was what he was saying it was. Like this place had never been hunted before. It was 600 acres in eastern Kansas. And all of a sudden my uncle's shows us a shed that they had found, just points everywhere. And it's got a big, they called it a hanger. It was like a big kicker off of the G2 on one of them.
If anybody wants one of those added to your buck, just hit me up. Let me know.
Yeah,
we can make that happen.
This one isn't for sale.
Hangers are they're above drop tines. In terms of,
those are an upcharge. Yeah. Sorry, go on.
But yeah, so he ends up sitting on a ridge that they found that shed on.
Yeah,
and he ends up shooting this buck. Like it's just an absolute monster. It's got 2 tines broke off, but it still goes. Was it 226? Like just one of the craziest deer you'll ever see that my dad shot.
It's in his basement.
So he shoots. So he shoots this thing, and he knows he hits it really well.
Okay.
But and I hear him from, I'm like 600 yards away, a little 12-year-old me, and I can hear him yell, and I start panicking. Like I think he's hurt.
You probably never heard your dad yell in the woods before.
No.
Yeah.
Never. And I heard him from 500 yards. So I start getting all my stuff. And then all of a sudden I see his truck coming. And I mean, like, it took me a while. Like I was 12. It was my first year hunting. So like I had my bow on the ground and I'm climbing down and I see this dust cloud coming. And I'm like, well, he's not dead. I'm like, well, that's good. So he comes up, and as soon as like I got down on the ground, he just walks up and just grabs me. And I'm like, what happened? What happened? And he goes, you know that big shed? Like I shot that buck. And like we were like bawling and like it was awesome. And then when we walked up on that thing, it was.
Was your uncle there too?
Yeah. I do have. I don't know if I ever finished the video or not, but I do have the blood trail. Like we filmed the blood trail of it.
Yeah.
With like one of those VHS things. So my dad
for sure
had the actual VHS tape in the camera.
Slam it in. Yeah. Yeah. So my dad. It's so funny looking back on it now because of like the filming. Like I'm just 12 and he's telling me what to do. So I'm like, yeah, cool. Zoom button. Like there's way too much zooming. It's all out of focus. But like,
dude, that zoom button was so fun to press.
And it went so fast too.
Yeah.
Like my new camera.
Like you had to be doing because you feel like you need to do something other than stand there. Well, I have to hit this button. I can't just stand here holding this camera. I got to do something.
Yeah, they put it there for a reason.
Every home video, just on an eyeball.
Yes. They all start out that
on
way
the other
too.
eyeball.
Yeah, everyone. The zoom always stayed where it was. So like everyone, when it first starts, they're like right here. And then, geez, what's going on?
You fan to the next person. They're a lot closer. Oh, shit.
Yeah, no, that was fun though. But the guy even once he shot that buck, he's like, we showed the guy that we got permission from, and he goes, "Oh, that's a good one," but he goes, "That's not the big one." And we're like, What are you talking about? So sure enough, I went and sat right where my dad was, and I could literally see, like, they didn't want to take me in too far because I was only 12. I needed to be able to like walk back to the cabin. So I literally was in this little grass opening that, it was a good spot. Like I saw a lot of bucks, and I just remember looking at that opening and I saw this deer and I'm like, gosh, I don't remember it, like that brush pile. And then all of a sudden the brush pile moved and I was like, he wasn't kidding. Like that's a big buck. And that's like 500 yards away, and you could see it with the naked eye. Like it was unbelievable.
That's awesome.
After you shot a 227.
Right.
It's just stupid.
Yeah.
I can't fathom what that's like.
Dude, just walking up on that thing is unreal.
I'm only a trophy hunter until I get 2 more bucks to put on the wall because I want 2 for upstairs by the fireplace on either side. And after that, I don't care as it is mostly.
We were kind of like talking
hunting.
about,
and now
kind of talk about that on the way.
If I get 2 more to mount up there, that's as much as I need to feel as complete as humanly possible.
Mm-hmm.
Short of some meat in the freezer and some good memories, I don't care. But they don't have to be huge. Like I'm like my standards.
That's an interesting conversation to bring up, though, especially with you, because you shoot a lot of deer and you've kind of turned a corner a little bit in your hunting career. But like that's one that I've told my parents. My dad and I have had that conversation after a few whiskeys around the campfire that like I've not killed a lot of big deer, but I've killed some. And I told him like I just feel completely content with like
how it's set up
what I've done. Yeah. And like I am 100% ready to like focus my efforts on when the kids are ready.
Sure.
Like if I never kill a big one again, I'm cool. Like I'm good. I just want to like help them get on one and like help my buddies get on one. Like bringing Adam along and all the stuff. Like I love when buddies have success, and that's just going to be extrapolated 1,000% when our kids are ready. You know, it's going to be so cool.
we were talking on the way here, like how everybody gets wrapped up in the score of everything. So last year, I mean, I was telling Derek, like between the properties that we have in Illinois, I had like $6 over 160, and I ended up shooting on the second day of a 9-day hunt. I shot a 135, and I'm like, and my dad was kind of like, well, why did you shoot that? And I'm like, well, I tell you what, my heart was pounding out of my chest, and it was 30 yards away broadside. That's why I shot it. I said, I don't think instead of like worrying about score or age, like those numbers, I'm going to measure it by like how hard my leg is shaking or like how my heart rate is.
Do you have an Apple Watch?
No.
No, I have a Garmin, but I'm like, I kind of want to measure my heart rate.
Oh, yeah, it'd be through the roof.
How big was he? Like, he was like a 187.
Yeah, my heart rate.
Not score.
Yeah.
Beats per minute.
Like, you need to go to the hospital.
Why'd you shoot
Putting
that
Crockett
thing?
knows the BPM.
Yeah. Why'd you shoot that thing? Well, if you look at the BPM of my watch, that'll give you your answer.
Right.
Like, do you see what that buck did to my heart? Like, I don't care.
Right.
He tore up mine, I tore up his, kind of thing. Like, tearing at my heart when I'm with you. Singing some freaking, who sings that? Timberlake? Is that Backstreet Boys or is that NSYNC?
Don't start singing Timberlake because my kids have been watching Trolls Band together. And he does the soundtrack to that. It's very catchy.
Brozone.
Perfect. And that, oh man, Brozone. That shit's in my head all day, every day.
Everything reminds me of Trolls. Yeah.
Perfect.
My kids have watched it a number of times, so I know all the songs. We sing it. They play it in the car.
When they put that on, I like go sit down. I'm like, all right, let's get. I'm like, let's watch this.
Sends you right back to grade school.
I'll still be watching some of those videos. Like you throw Moana on, I'm in.
Dude, they're so good. We never movies that good when we were kids.
Dude,
our
best
kid movies suck compared to that.
Right.
Hands down, best movie. Penguins in Madagascar.
That's pretty good.
Is that good?
Oh,
I don't know. It's hard to beat Moana.
I like Moana.
Moana's pretty magical.
I like the
Coco's pretty good.
Coco.
Coco's great.
I don't know that I've seen Coco.
Coco's
Well,
good.
you're missing out, friend.
Coco's good.
All right,
Coco's
it's on the
good.
list.
De La Muerto.
Boy, this took a turn real quick from 180.
I thought we were talking about
It was the heart rate that got it
I thought we were talking about.
Boy, you want to get
whitetail
your heart
fever.
rate up? Tell you what, hit Moana on that streaming service.
You're welcome.
Son of a bitch.
That was perfect.
Did you like the song?
Yeah. So whitetail fever, huh? Yeah.
It's a thing. It's a real thing.
Oh,
I think
I've got it really bad.
So does it get worse from here? Like that's what my wife said. She's like, is it going to get? She's like, every year I feel like it starts early. I'm like, no, it's after the 4th of July. You see the velvet. You start to does something to your body. You see velvet, and other things get hard. It's just really
not
crazy.
a coincidence.
Everything's getting a little harder every day.
Just a lot of blood flowing in the different parts of the body. That's what happens. Antlers, you know.
There's not a lot of drop times around here.
They say I've never seen bone grow so fast on an animal. You're talking about me or the whitetail? You're talking about me about the whitetail.
This is what happens every year though. Is like you build up the excitement, right? The whitetail fever builds up, and like even if you don't have a great spot to go, like opening weekend is hard,
Sucks.
right?
It's miserable.
It's miserable. There's mosquitoes. It's very hard to like really get
Can't
on
see anything.
deer
There's
on
no
public
foliage on
land.
tree.
But like you're so excited, you're just like, oh, I'm fucking smoking. Like, let's go.
You're still
Finally
there.
gonna get one
And then,
early
like,
season. You know?
Then you go and you're like, that was horrible.
You're
What's I
just drenched
thinking?
in sweat.
All my clothes are 20 pounds heavier.
Oh, yeah.
It's disgusting. I've done that several times now.
I had that cool thing happen last year where I think I was sending you pictures and I sent you guys some pictures. I had some nice bucks using this area, and I had this 2 bucks that were coming through on this little trail through a transition in the morning. And most of the time they were in daylight. You know, they were hitting it just after daylight, shooting light. I was like, this is what I need. Like, I know where they're going. I know how to get in here without them seeing me. I know where they're coming from. So I took this long walk, got up super early in the morning, walked in there. I brought my tree stand, I brought my sticks, all my stuff. Couldn't find a tree. I I went further than I needed to and walked the line I thought they were walking toward where my camera was. I didn't want to hurt over my camera. I wanted to like give myself a little bit more light. So I thought I was like near their destination. Couldn't find a tree, thick foliage. I'm like, if I get up, I can't see anything in the buckthorn stuff. I'm like, I'll never see anything. So I decided to sit on the ground, pick a spot, clear out a little ground blind, and I just sit on the ground. And that hunt went pretty good. I had some does come right by me. They didn't win me nothing. Didn't see any bucks.
Okay.
Didn't see any bucks, but I was like, hey, successful hunt. That was good. Sat on the ground. Deer came by. It was good. Checked that camera like 3 weeks later. the huge 8-pointer, one of the ones I was hunting, was there opening morning when I was sitting on the ground. I have a picture of him walking down the trail, then another of him walking directly toward me, then another picture of him standing there with both of his ears forward, looking right toward me, and then another picture of him running right back down the trail in the dark just before light. Running. I never heard that. Never heard him there. Didn't know it happened. Oh, but it happened. So I was like, well, no wonder that spot wasn't good the next 2 tries.
You just never, and if you didn't have that cam, you would never have known at all that you
well, no, it was kind of cool looking back.
Like, have that intel.
And it wasn't right at the moment. Like that day I looked at it, so it softened the blow.
That's why those morning hunts are so hard. I think in the early season, it's almost impossible to beat them into the bed. Yeah. And not only that, like they go there earlier and they just circle everything
and browse.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like you just can't get away with anything. So it's got to be a good, like, perfect scenario.
From my understanding, you got to have them super patterned. So I'm like, if I don't have any, and I never do, I never have enough intel. I haven't scouted for shit. So early season's like, unless I get super, super duper lucky, I really have no business being in the woods early season.
I think miserable.
Other than just to get out there, but like otherwise, I'm like, what am I even doing?
Yeah,
I just start to get FOMO really bad.
It is nice though, just to get out there and get all the rust off. Because the first few times when you're doing stuff and you're like putting a climbing stick up or something, or even if you're climbing a stand, like you're making so much more noise than what you did. And you're like, what is happening to me? Like, I need to get this thing's in the wrong place. My release isn't on the right way.
How you pack your stuff in your bag.
Yeah, that system.
Like that's since I got that saddle, like I'm trying to figure things out. And now with this,
what do you got? Now did you go with the
Latitude? Except when I went there, the platforms were sold out, so I bought this other one online. I don't like it. Like I've a number of times I've tried to like swing out around the tree and it shifts on me every time. No
when
matter
you put side load on.
When I put side load on, I'm like
kicks out.
Yeah, it kicks out, and I'm like, I'm not digging that. And so I don't feel confident with it. Everything else, like I feel like the saddle setup, like I've got a little carabiner and then a little rope that I have attached to it, so like I can get it all up in one trip. And like I've got the retractable bow joist or whatever you want to call it that goes all the way to the ground. Like I can make everything in one trip and I can do it pretty quick. It's just I'm just not comfortable with that platform yet.
Which is a huge part.
Do you still have that lone wolf platform, Derek?
I do. I have
try it if you're not using it.
Yeah, maybe we can work something out with that because it's a bigger platform. I'm a fan of little tiny ones.
It's nice to have that bigger platform to have them moving around.
My first platform I built using the seat of a sand-casted lone wolf stand.
I remember that.
The old sand-casted lone wolf ones, these are like from 20 years ago, 30 years ago. The seat actually bit the tree just like a platform does. So it has teeth in it. So I would buy these sand-casted platforms, which are fairly lightweight, like 7 or 8 pounds, take the seats off. I would throw a bigger seat on them, like they're alpha seats, and then I would use those and build saddle platforms off them because they're super small. And to me, the point of doing the saddle
is to be minimal,
is to have as little profile moving through the woods as possible, so I can go through the thick shit without having big giant platform. And that lone wolf platform is freaking awesome. It's huge. It's beautiful. It locks in, but it's big. It's bigger than my stick.
That big though. Like
no, but compared to like what I'm used to,
yeah,
that seat was like this. So to me, that platform feels like a tree stand almost, which is great.
In the Latitude one, I have the X-Wing. Which I'm going to try a different one this year. One of their other ones, I think.
Are you?
Yeah.
If you want to get rid of that X-Wing.
Well, I'm not going to get rid of it, but you can use it. You know, I'll send it
I'd love to
way.
try it because
Yeah.
I might do a trade. There's all kinds of saddle hunter classifieds. And I might see if anybody wants to trade that ambush for something small.
Sure.
You should see if anybody wants one that kicks out from you. I got one.
Yeah, those are pretty.
Yeah. I'm
pretty in demand.
Did you get the Latitude Carbon Series Speed Sticks too?
Yep.
Those things are really impressive. I mean,
you know,
more than I would have anticipated.
What do they call that? Amsteel?
Amsteel rope?
You didn't have them on your. Did you have them on your climbing sticks when I climbed up in the tree in Illinois?
No,
I know you had the gator.
Those were my lone wolf ones.
Okay.
So those did not. Those had like just the normal cam buckle strap.
Yeah, because when I was looking at them, I'm like, "There's no like that doesn't seem safe." And then I ordered them. I got them. I'm like, "These things are sweet." And like how
it's quick,
like how light they are. I couldn't believe how fast I could do it.
Right. And that rope system
is bulletproof.
Easy peasy. You do it with one hand.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So people have like well, I don't know about the heat or the rain or the cold. It was designed, I don't know if it's like NASA, but aerospace stuff, where it was designed, that material was designed to go from like Florida, Orlando heat at the, wherever rockets take off. I don't know.
Florida.
To frickin' into space where it's freezing
right
in minutes.
Yeah,
it's colder than
okay.
20. It's colder than 20 degrees. Probably.
So like it can, trust me, it
Yes.
can handle it. It's been tested. That's what it was used for. Now we have it for climbing trees.
Right.
Which is kind of the irony to me of Latitude. It's like they're a saddle company. Their saddles are great. The 2-panel one I still want, but like a saddle's a saddle. Some of the companies make them a little bit more easy.
Yeah, you're
to
missing
use
out on not having the 2-panel.
And listen, and like I've had 3 different saddles. I started saddle hunting quite a while before it became a craze. I had like a Kestrel. It was made by this saddle company that's been around for like 30 years, and it was really nice. And the Latitude one I have is nice, but it's a saddle. The most impressive thing that I have from Latitude is those damn sticks. I really do like those freaking sticks. I like them a lot.
Sweet.
I couldn't be as efficient, and which is saying I say that I make everything way harder than it needs to be. Everything. And these have made my life and therefore my hunting experience so much better because it's a really well thought out product. We do have a caller. Let's see. I can't. What's KY? KY's Kansas? Kentucky? What's KY?
Yeah.
Kentucky.
Oh, God,
Right?
I don't know. Kentucky.
Is it?
Yeah, what did you say?
Nothing.
I thought you said
It's from
something.
nowhere.
You're live on
This
the
is jelly.
You're live. Who do we got from Kentucky?
First the plug, now this.
Justin signing. What's up, boys?
Oh, what's up,
going
Jeff?
on?
How's it going, buddy? It didn't show up that way at all in here. What the shit?
Yeah,
Join
I don't know,
dinner.
man. Like I've been sitting here in my truck for probably I don't know, a half hour, and it's like, state your name and your reason for calling, and I'm like, Justin, cock up a loogie and then call out me. So I didn't pop up.
Yeah, it says join dinner called to BS. Leachfield,
no,
Kentucky.
I'm sitting out here glassing a bean field, and I've just been listening to you boys for the past, I don't know, 40 minutes or so. I figured I'd call in and just
Sorry about that.
shoot the shit with you.
Well,
You seeing anything?
Not yet, just a doe so far.
What kind of field are you looking
I think they're going to dump out here in a little bit. It's been super hot today, and it's going to cool off and rain this evening. So
I've been seeing deer earlier in the day on my way home. Even like they're in the bean fields, going to town, groups of them. That and those damn cranes. Herds of them.
You guys been doing any glassing or anything?
I take the back road long way home. It's relative. I don't have far to go, but I try to make it longer so I can look at all the fields on the way home, and that's about as much glass as I'm doing. But it doesn't matter. I can't hunt any of that shit. I just like to see what the deer are doing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I haven't been doing any.
I don't have anywhere I can glass. Sadly.
I'm public land hunter, so like any in the areas that I can hunt, I can't get glass on them. There's no way to get eyes on those.
Now we talked about this on one of the episodes of Dropping Pins, that like living in northern Wisconsin, especially, and just not having a lot of egg fields on public, visibility is your like number one detriment. Like
unless you have access to something
you don't know about.
Like Tubbs got some good access through some egg fields.
Yeah,
probably be good for him to go glass those, but for the rest of us, I don't.
Yeah,
no.
we've got quite a few that
we
can do too.
We're pretty lucky here, man. I'm in like the middle of ag country. It's everywhere. It's either cattle pastures, cornfields, tobacco fields, or bean fields.
Have you eaten the tobacco?
Yeah, I love tobacco. Why not? Do you guys have tobacco fields out where you're at?
No, that's kind of fun. I'm just thinking about deer.
My dad and I went to Kentucky.
I did say tobacco.
They don't like it.
Yeah, I was talking about the Simpsons episode where they're eating. I'll take 10.
When my dad and I went to Kentucky, I was in high school. My dad booked a bow hunting trip there. We went to like an outdoor expo, and there's a guy, and oh yeah, it's really good. And my dad's like, oh, middle of October, it's kind of like slow here, a little bit of the lull. Is that? Oh no, there's deer everywhere, So we went down there, and it was a complete crock of shit. It was a scam hunt for sure. We had hot dogs every day. That's what we had. Gas station hot dogs. Man. That's what they served us. But it was an interesting experience. We saw my dad and I saw some deer, but when we were driving down there, we were like taking the back roads, looking around the area, and we had never been around tobacco, but they were like drying the tobacco in the fall. So there was all these barns that had the doors all closed up, and they were all smoking. And we're like, holy shit, we call 911. That barn's like burning down. But, you know, they were just drying they hang the tobacco. They do the ashes, the coal on the floor or whatever they do. But my dad and I were like, oh, my God, there's another one. Get on the phone.
These guys are terrible at
So we're like, what are they doing down here in Kentucky with their barns?
Yeah. Insurance.
We're a bunch of idiots, a bunch of northern idiots.
That's great. That's great. I would have the same reaction.
We were really concerned. We drove to one. We're like, oh, my God.
Yeah, I got a funny one for you. It was wild when we were first moving here. I was out here with a buddy of mine, and my wife's a smoker, right? So my buddy takes this picture of a tobacco field and sends it to her, and she immediately, I think he tagged her on Facebook, right? And he was like, "Oh yeah, can't wait to see you in Kentucky." And then she was like, "Oh, it looks so beautiful." And had no idea it was just all a big tobacco.
Right up her alley.
And maybe she really meant it, though. Maybe she's like, no, that is
beautiful green field.
Yeah, maybe she did.
She really meant it. That's my kind of field. That is beautiful. It's like the beach raid. They walk into that weed field, and they're like, whoa. Didn't it get lit on fire, and there he's all stoned running through the things talking to some kid or something?
On which one?
The beach. Remember that movie?
No, I was thinking Without a Paddle.
Oh, maybe that's the one. There's a weed farm in that one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a scene that plays on 2 movies.
That's a great movie. That's a great movie.
Of course it does. That's a funny movie.
That is a good movie.
I should probably watch that sometime.
They christen the canoe.
Yeah.
And the native guy's like, thanks for breaking glass where my kids play. That gets me every time.
Oh. So
that's a good movie.
It's a great movie.
You got plans there then for the season or what?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm planning on stacking some bodies this year.
Woo!
Honestly, I really
let's go.
I really want to come back this year, so I'm trying to pile them up.
Sweet.
I want to get at least 2 in Kentucky, and then if not 3rd, and then maybe try to hunt Illinois or Indiana. They're in the rut, so if everything worked out in a perfect world, maybe $3 this year. That's what I'm aiming for.
And you, just so people know, you're running the Running and Gunning podcast, right?
Thanks for the drop. I appreciate it, man. I wasn't trying to come on your podcast and be like, oh, yeah.
I don't give a shit.
Check out my podcast.
We got Ghostbuck in the house.
But for real.
Pins in the house. We got Running and Gunning. Your show's good. So like I want to say it because what's cool about hosting a podcast is you get so much knowledge over the years that you get through osmosis by talking to people and working through problems and talking about all that stuff that when you get in the woods, you're like, let me start to apply some of this shit. And I think it helps.
Yeah.
As a hunter.
It's kind of it's like almost an information overload sometimes. And I catch myself like, I feel like I was a better killer before I had all this knowledge. And then it's like, you start second guessing yourself.
I have too many tools. I don't know which one to use to fix the problem.
Well, and Justin, you talk to a ton of really, really high level guys, and you're pretty tight with the Lone Wolf Custom guys, and like those guys are killers. You just get conflicting ideologies about everything. So you find somebody like, shit, do I hunt low? Do I hunt high? Do I do this? Do I do that?
Right.
The bucks are everywhere.
Oh
my,
they're everywhere. I don't even know. I'm screwed no matter what I do.
It's the truth. And then like, you're trying to be passive or something, and then your buddy's like, no, you got to get in there and kill him. Like now it's like, oh
wait till I tell you to be passively aggressive. Like, that's a whole nother one. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do?
My wife's good at that.
Passively aggressive. Like I think Jared Scheffler said that on a show once, way back in the day. He's like, you got to be passively aggressive. You got to know. You got to stay passive until it's time to be aggressive. You can't be aggressive, but maybe you can. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing?
No, I totally get it. I'm just going to sit in the truck.
There's so many variables.
I'm going to hit one with my vehicle.
Think about being aggressive while I'm back here.
Yeah. Those are the shiners. That's what they do. They're passive aggressive.
Now, Justin, this is going to be your year.
Oh, thanks, brother. I think so, too. I'm excited. Regardless, I'm just going to have a ton of fun this season.
That's the name.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And that's what's important to me.
That's what I love about hunting with this guy, Beau. Like today, we're about to get out of the car. It's 84 degrees, and we're gonna go walk. Like we made it 4 yards from the car. We're like, let's go this way, and we just hit a wall of impenetrable buckthorn. We're like, all right, let's not go this way.
Yeah.
And Beau always just says, like, his claim to fame, like what he says is, let's go make a memory, and like that's what it's about. Like no matter how stupid it is, how good it is, how bad it is, let's just fucking go.
The book Greg is reading.
That's right.
He borrowed. The obstacle is the way, guys.
It was not the way today.
No. Trust me, there are way better ways.
We're thinking of a different obstacle.
Because we talked about it. We're like, we're really we're ready to rock. And then he goes, watch, we can't even go in there. We literally go 4 yards, and we're like, that is a wall. Like we legit cannot move through it. And it's all thorns. And
Like, guys, turn around.
You know what?Maybe there is a better way.
Bleed up by the time you get to the other end.
But what was funny about today, and maybe Justin will think this is interesting too, is like Beau picked the spot. No people are going to go here. It's a heavy human traffic area. So there's definitely lots of people, but they're going there for different reasons. And this spot that he kind of picked, there was like this little wet area, swampy shit. And Beau was like, do you want to stay on the roadside around that? Because it's pretty close to the road. Or should we just go around like the open woods side? And we both decided, like, well, let's go on the road. Let's go on the roadside because nobody's walking on, we're literally talking right next to the road. And we walked a little ways, and and all of a sudden you get a little ways down, and there's this little point, and we both went, well, that little point looks kind of interesting. It's right by the road, and then all of a sudden, rubs, beds. Holy shit, something's using this. Well done, picking a cool spot. And then we got real excited.
Can you hunt it? Can you I don't mean legally. I mean, like, can you set up on it?
Yeah, easily.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Hell yeah. It's always fun, like, getting to scout, like, ground with your buddies that you make that, like, you keep in touch with, but you've never got to actually hit the woods with them. Oh. And then you're like, all right, this guy knows his shit. Like, all right.
That never happens to me. Like, they don't say that about me. I brought a camera guy with me. He's like, the fuck are we doing over here? What are you doing? I was like, don't question me.
You're like, what are we doing?
That's a good question. Is this passive aggressive?
I feel like we wouldn't see shit because we'd just probably be too busy laughing the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
One of my favorite memories of Justin is we were on spring break in Arizona, and we took the kids to there was like an indoor play park, Wildcats or something it's called. It's a huge indoor play park, and all of a sudden I get a call from Justin signing. I'm like, oh shit. Answer it, and Justin's like, dude, I just found a huge shed. And I was like, tell me all about it. My kids are running on these zip lines. I'm like, I'm sure they'll be fine. How big was it? Where was it? What do you think he was doing? Yeah. He's like, I already sent you 6 pictures.
Only true shed hunters will understand.
Oh, you gotta love it.
Yeah, that was awesome, dude. That was funny. You were stoked for me, and I was definitely fired up too.
Does Buck start piling into that field yet?
Nope, just a bunch of does that keep looking over my way when I laugh.
That's what the bucks aren't coming out. The does are looking your way. The bucks like, something's out there, man. I'm not going out there yet. That's what they do.
I don't know. I'm waiting. I mean, I'm like probably 300 or 400 yards from where I'm expecting this buck to come out at. So I don't really care about these does. They can kick rocks.
They are kicking rocks.
Yeah, until they start blowing at you, then it's like, all right.
Yeah. All right, you know what?
Now I'm
right,
interested. Yeah. Oh, you're not interested? I'm not interested. Oh, now you're a little bit interested? Now I'm a little bit interested. You know?
Oh, it happened again. What's with the Charlie horse?
Oh, you should have seen the stuff we were walking through. That's what it's from.
Wow. Looks like something's happening to Derek. I'm just enjoying this.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's a cramp. That's a hamstring cramp.
Yep, that's a good one.
He's suffering, folks.
You do need to.
I was wondering
man. There you go.
Give me some tips.
Yeah, you got to straighten your leg.
Straighten your leg. You got to point your toes to the ground.
Opposite
or up.
way.
Yeah, point
to the ground. Yeah, don't do that.
Point on the ground.
Yeah, and bend it. It's going to be really good.
So we squat down.
Here's what you want to do.
Yeah.
Should do a deep squat.
Yeah, do like 20 squats. It's going to be helpful.
You're not even a true friend. What are you doing? Telling the right shit to do?
You know what? That is true. It was kind of your fault that we walked through that stuff.
Justin, thanks for calling in, buddy. Quit laughing so you stop scaring the bucks out of
it was great talking to you guys. I was going to say, whenever you want me to hop off, you kick me out of here. So it was great catching up with y'all.
Tell Derek to get you on dropping pins. That'll be a good one.
I think we're planning on it next week.
Oh,
so
well, cat's out of the
hang
bag.
in there.
Sorry about
Suck
that.
it, Eric.
I ruined Christmas again.
Suck it, Eric.
All right, see you, buddy.
All right, good luck this season.
Till later, Justin.
Was that Big Daddy? You ruined a good surprise. I wasted it on you.
I wasted a good surprise on you.
I don't know if I'm okay.
Derek's, and
It's lingering in my low ass.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's still there. Is that last push through that tall grass?
That stuff that's brutal.
Short legs and tall grass. Knock it off.
It was very tall.
Mixed with deep water.
You guys hear that?
Oh yeah.
I think we're gonna call this episode cooked.
All right.
I used to think about immature things.
Sound Michael Jackson?
Yeah.
I don't know what this is.
Do you love me?
Is this it?
Do you want me? Are you gonna call me like you said
I
you
don't
would?
think this is what you think.
I think this is it.
Oh, maybe it is. It's
Getting spicy.
Yeah.
Can our listeners hear this?
I don't know. I'm getting some feelings.
Is this a copyright?
I'm waiting for the chorus.
I can't play this in my classroom.
My kids can't listen to this podcast. My wife listens to weird stuff.
Where's that drop time at?
Yeah.
Our wives are listening to serial killer podcasts. That's what they're doing.
That is 100% what they're doing.
This is it.
Is it?
I didn't realize it was this vulgar.
It is really.
I'm waiting for it to
This was your favorite song when you were 14? You didn't know why.
I can't turn it down.
You can survive it.
We'll see.
I'm really waiting for the D's part. It did it, and then now it's like
It did. Yeah, I was talking through it.
I thought it was more prominent than that.
Thought it was coming.
This is Rich Boy. Throw some D's. It's the whole song called.
There it is.
Thank you.
Yeah. Second time around.
That's when Dubs was the real thing.
That's about the weirdest episode we've ever done.
A lot of good ideas.
I think
Tony Critter, what the fuck is this? You had to listen to the beginning to get the end. Okay.
Eric did mention weed and whitetails. Now
that did not happen, but this IPA always does feel like I'm drinking weed. IPAs taste like hops. Well, I mean, or like
hops taste like weed.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Well,
but you're not wrong. Saying IPAs taste like hops. I think there might be some in there.
We're onto something.
I'm not overcorrecting. I'm confirming. And
deer do live in the woods.
Deer do deer stuff.
Deer stuff. There we go.
We're back to deer stuff. Perfect.
Jim Shockey used to have a thing that he would say on a show is, deer do what they do, they are where they are, and they move when they move.
Yes.
And I was like, truer words have never been spoken.
It's that reason I can't handle tactics. I'm like, dude, the deer can do what the deer are gonna do. The tactics only work if they work,
and they only work in the spot that they work. In a different spot that doesn't work like that.
My tactics never work. I can rely on deer stuff more than I can rely on tactics. Deer stuff.
We always know deer stuff is gonna happen.
Yes. I'm gonna go do hunting things, and deer stuff is gonna happen, and that's how I'm gonna kill a buck.
That's it.
There you go.
Deer do deer stuff.
Deer stuff.
That's it. What are the deer doing today? I don't know what the cow is doing today. I like that one. They're not the same animal. I mean, no, they're not the same species.
They have the same number of legs, though.
Sometimes, yeah. Yeah. Not after Wisconsin rifles.
We've got a couple numbers running around there. And they're not talking about the antlers.
That's Carl. He's been hit a few times.
I apologize for any amputees listening. It was not a dig at you.
Oh, that wasn't a dig at you either.
Cows. But no,
sorry.
Deer are cervids, right? What is a cow? It's a different.
It's a reptile.
No. It's called the kingdom phylum, the species hierarchy.
That's above my pay grade.
Well, the reason I talk, someone's like, well, if cows are laying down, deer are probably laying down. If cows are up, deers are up. Then that seems to actually be pretty accurate.
That has a lot to do with weather, I think.
The weather outside is weather. Dude,
weather does what weather does.
It was storming cats and dogs, and bucks running around my neighborhood the other day. I'm like, well, the deer don't care about the storm at all. They were just doing deer stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And when the weather was doing weather stuff.
Yeah, when weather's weathering, deer do.
On the OKS Hunter podcast, you will not get a single tactic.
If you guys want to check out Dropping Pins, we really dive into that theory.
There's your April Fool's episode.
What deer stuff are deer stuff doing?
April Fool's. Today we're talking about deer stuff. And you just do the whole episode of just bullshit nonsense that makes no sense.
I thought that's what we already did.
It's all deer hunting podcasts. And then it's the best is everyone's like, no, this is how it works. This is what they're doing. I know the deer are doing this because I know that the deer are doing this because I've seen it. It's like they're just like, oh, you're the absolute gospel.
Yeah,
that's what happens then, huh? It's like, no, the only truck I ever buy is Ford because that's all I ever bought. That's the only truck that works. It's like, well, what about the fucking Chevy? I'm sure that's fine. Well, I don't drive no Chevy. I don't know what the fuck that thing does.
Piece of shit.
You've never driven it. What are you talking about? Well, my buddy, he drove a Dodge once.
Yeah. Got it stuck.
He said it broke one time, and now I don't trust those fuckers. It's like, well,
I don't know shit about either of those, but Beau took a ride in the Highlander today. Really performed.
Saw you guys.
Honestly, I think I might trade the Tundra out.
I will take it. If you want to trade, we can do straight up.
It's almost the same miles on there.
Pink slips.
Yeah.
You throw some D's on that bitch?
I'm thinking about it.
Put the drop 10 right in the hood.
That's not a bad idea.
If that goes into your tire, that's a sign to get some D's on that bitch. I think I had a sticker on my bike when I was a kid that said Dubs.
Yeah.
Could that be an acronym for something? Deer ungulant. That's what a cow is. A cow is an ungulant.
Oh, wow.
Nice. I thought they're all. Is it?
They're cervid. Deers are cervids. Cows are ungulants. I think I figured it out.
Ungulants.
I think my brain put together. I could be completely wrong. And people are probably like spitting milk out of their nose.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
I gotta Google it. Let's do our.
Isn't a hooved animal an ungulate?
Well, maybe that's what is a cow?
I think a hooved animal is an ungulate. So I think deer and elk and moose are ungulates.
Here we go. Kingdom, phylum, class, order of species.
Title this one.
The scientific name for a cow is a Bos taurus. It's classified into the following taxonomic groups. Domain. Whoa, fuck this.
Knowledge.
Eukaryota. Kingdom is Animalia. Yeah. Phylum is Chordata. Class is Mammalia. Order is Antiodactylia. Family. Oh, Bovidae. Oh, subfamily bovine.
Bovine.
So I don't
know
what did I just say? So I was wrong. I was confidently wrong.
Ungulate.
90% of the time he's right every time.
Yeah. But I'm very confident.
You were convincing. I was like, yeah, I didn't know that.
Shit,
I was like, don't believe him. That's not what an ungulate is all about.
I will answer my wife with pure
I've
confidence.
been here enough.
She'll be like, so do we have to paint the whole floor or just the parts? I'm just the parts. And she's like, well, that can't be right. I'm like, well, why not?
Yeah.
Why'd you ask me?
What the fuck are you asking me for? And I'm like, then I make a show of it. So I'm like, you're the one asking me. So who's dumber?
Yeah, 3 times he said that.
You're dumber for asking me. You know the outcome of the answer, and I'm going to answer confidently every time, so I don't have to do this damn dance every time.
But here we are doing the dance,
and the floor is painted. Yeah.
Oh,
that is what it is.
That was a Marine Corps thing. I'll never forget. That was my lesson in confidence. It was at boot camp, and there was I knew all my general orders. I fucking memorized them because I was terrified of drill instructors. So I had a girlfriend teach me my general orders before I went in. She was great. It was awesome. It wasn't like the Billy Madison
She was like
scene.
your drill instructor.
It wasn't like the Billy Madison scene.
Correct.
That is correct.
It was, but I got there.
What color is Miss Lippy's car?
They're like, what is your blah, blah, blah general order? And the guy's like, blah, 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 blah. He was fucking right. And then they asked me, and I was like, blah, 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 blah. Or like it was the opposite round. And then I was like, well, he's fucking dead wrong, but he's confident, so he's right. He might as well be right. And that's what this is all about.
He might as well be right.
Like, you can't. What was that? A question mark? You were right, by the way, asshole. But you sounded incompetent. You were not confident, so you're wrong. People are dead now. And I was like, that's confidence right there.
That's just how we do it.
Like, you just spit the shit like it's right, and people are like, oh yeah, it's a fucking, it's a what did I just say? Well, it's not a bovine. I said something different. And it's an ungulate.
Ungulate.
Fucking know an ungulate.
It is an ungulate. Oh, you're right.
Well, maybe it's that too. Right. What did I say? I don't see ungulate anywhere in this order of shit.
Well, look up ungulate. Just look that up. Hit that with the Google, the internet machine.
Define. Dude, I can't spell any of these things. Ungulate.
Hooved animal.
Ungulate.
Maybe
zoology. Not. Doesn't tell me what it is. Oh, yeah. A hooved animal. A hooved mammal.
Oh.
Well, they're fucking hooved now.
Are there hooved fish?
I guess we need to spell it out just in case. I mean, you got the duck-billed platypus. That's all everything, right? Like, if that thing had a hooves, it'd be a complete set.
Sweet little mixeroo.
Mix a little cocktail here and pour that into wildlife.
Yep.
The fuck is that?
That reminds me of Lane's drink when we went to the Boundary Waters. Remember that?
I do remember that.
The bar
You got to tell that.
So we set up a trip to the Boundary Waters. You've been there before.
Yeah.
We're gonna go up there and we're gonna go, shed hunt the woods and check stuff out.
Oh, so this is a different type of boundary water. I went to go fishing.
Yeah. Fishing was a part of it, but
What time of year?
This was just before school got out. We got out early because of COVID.
Okay.
So this would have been like late May, I believe.
That's cold up there still.
Yeah, it was pretty nice.
It was nice out.
All right.
We had
the water was still pretty cold, but it was 70.
Four guys.
It was cold in July when I was there.
Four guys. Beau came up. One of the older teachers in our school, Pat, good friend of mine. He came up, and then my buddy Lane, who's a music teacher at my school, he's a couple years younger, really nice guy. He came up, and they're like, "What do you bring anything to drink?" I was like, "Yeah, just don't bring beer. Bring something light because you got to carry it all. Bring something to sip. Bring some good whiskey or whatever." Blah blah. So Beau brought some good whiskey. He's a whiskey connoisseur.
What'd you bring? What did you remember?
Bourbon or whatever.
I don't remember. No, I think I just brought some Bullet.
It might have been Bullet.
Bullet rye.
Bullet. And then Pat, the older gentleman, he brought Kessler.
Yeah, he's a Kessler fan.
He's just a huge Kessler. That's all he drinks.
Yeah.
I brought some kind of, I don't know, it was Jack Daniels,
Jack
Tennessee.
I think it was,
It was like a honey whiskey something, blah, blah, blah.
That seems right.
And then Layton took out his, and his was like in a water bottle or something. Okay. And Pat, the older gentleman, was like, "Hey, what do you got in yours? What did you bring?" He's like, "I don't know. My dad had like 5 or 6 bottles of, mostly gone whiskey. I just dumped it all in there." And we're like,
"What?
Like 5 or 6 different kinds?" He's like, "Yeah." So it's a blend. We're like, "All right."
Like, okay.
Hit that blend.
I am not going to try that.
Yeah, so some of us passed. Some of us did not accept the pass.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a fun trip, though.
We talked about him today, too.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you noticed Beau's arms.
Oh, yeah.
I saw. Yeah, you got cut up through that buck.
But so Pat and Beau had to leave. You guys had stayed for a couple days, and then you had to go. So those two left, and then Lane and I stayed out camping in our spot, looking for antlers and stuff. And the one morning, it was getting close to the end of the trip. We'd been out there for like 5 or 6 days. We're sore in the morning, you sleep on the ground, walking a lot during the day.
Yeah.
Rough terrain.
Breathing fresh air.
And he's rubbing his legs and he pulls his pant legs up and he is just bruised from his ankles to his mid-thighs. Just cuts and black and blue. And I was like, "My God, what happened?" I was like, "Did you fall?" He's like, "No." I was like, "Well, how did that happen, man?" I pulled my pant leg up to make sure I wasn't dying. And I was like, I was okay.
You had like one scratch.
My legs look normal. And I was like, what the hell happened to you? He goes, "Well, like when we're walking through those popple slashings, like you're going around stuff." He's like, "I just go through it." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Well, I'm like a bigger guy, so I just like go through the trees." And I was like, "So you're just walking into them?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "You should stop doing that." I was like, "You should probably stop doing that. Like, I don't know if you're going to make it out of here." Luckily, canoeing is a sitting
look like you got gang
activity.
Man.
It was bad, dude, because he's a big guy. He would just
I do remember watching him walk, and I'm like, "God, he makes a lot of noise." And it's just like, just goes through
Bobbles
everything.
are snapping.
Yeah, so we're walking through grass that's 8 foot tall today, and I'm like, "God, I wish Lane was here."
That's what he said. He would clear us a path.
Yeah. Like we could honestly get on his back.
The property you guys were on, I was on last season.
Yeah.
You put me out there, and I was gonna. There's a river or something back there.
Yep.
I wanted to get to it, and I never made it. I tried, and then I was out there with Keegan, and he's like, "What are we doing?"
Like, "This is not where
you're not gonna get any." I was like, I hit walls. I was like, I had to keep just kind of trying to find a way in, and I couldn't really do it. And by that time, I was like, "We're gonna get stuck out here or something. I was just searching for sign. I wasn't. There's got to be something.
It's a weird area.
So vast. It was so
weird. It's a weird area. It's really cool. And you get into pockets of.
You'll see it on the production when we get this season done.
Terrain.
You'll be like, oh, you were all the way out there.
Yeah, because he can film that all.
Yeah.
We filmed today a little bit, just on the phones. So if anybody watches that,
I'll get your other one done. I haven't had a chance to do it yet.
Oh, yeah. I knew you were busy. You were doing that other one. And if you guys see one of the Big Woods clear cut, you'll just get a laugh out of that. There's nothing of importance in there. It's mostly just a laugh.
So should I title that one?
Yeah. Shit show or true okay hunter moment
blunders.
Or why would you walk a clear cut in the middle of summer? Any of those would be fine.
Who does this?
Who does this?
Hashtag whitetail fever.
Realizing this was a bad idea. All those things. But yeah, I mean, you'll get into pockets depending on your terrain. I mean, deer like to scrape and rub under certain types of things more than others. And out there, you're going to get in terrain where they just don't rub as much. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the spots that I'm hunting are in those spots where, like, you don't see a ton of sign unless you're looking at tracks and unless you're looking at size of beds. You wouldn't really know. And I think that's beneficial if you can find areas like that. It's harder to know they're there, but also it's harder for other people to just stumble into a good spot because you get to a spot like we walked today. I don't think many people are walking through there, right. But there was like 20 rubs within an area that anyone would be like, shit, this is a good thing.
Right. This looks like it should do something about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Even that other spot though, like we're saying when we went in there, it was wet on a different year. Like that could be loaded with sign, when
it was drier.
When it was drier. So you just don't know. I mean, there were some old rubs in there, but it could just be the time of the year where they're not making many rubs. So the food sources are there. I still don't think it's something to get away from, but I mean, I'd like to see a little more before you have to go drag a deer through the stuff that we walk through.
Oh God, I couldn't even imagine. I would have been a 2-day drag for me. I would have to call in, take time off of work. It would have been miserable.
We'll call Dan's helicopter cousin. How long would it take you to get here?
I suck at dragging deer. I tried my best to get into shape in the summer, and then it fades so fast by the time I will actually get a deer, which is usually November if I'm going to get one at all.
It's always halfway through that drag. You're like, God, I just didn't do it. And then Derek starts to cramp. And
I don't cramp.
Get some more bananas.
I don't know what you're talking about. I had a banana this morning, sucker.
Maybe you might want to start with 2.
Some pickle juice.
The fuck?
Yellow mustard.
I drank a lot of water today.
We did drink a lot of water.
I know it was that last part.
Mm.
It was deep water. We went over our rubber boots, and it was all super high grass and matted grass. So you're just picking your legs up each time, a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's sometimes
what boots did you have?
Thigh deep.
What were you wearing?
Going out knees up to the chin.
Did you have your mucks?
I did not have the mucks today because I knew they were going to get ruined. I had my old gum leaf.
They got some new more new boots coming out.
I have
we're
my
have to put through the paces muck. I just talked to them like a couple weeks ago. They're going to send us some other ones to start to try.
I've had muck boots.
We talked about them last week.
I've had muck in the past, and I've enjoyed them.
Yeah.
The neoprene ones are just more comfortable than the rubber ones. I left mine out on the porch, like on the deck. I hung them upside down, just jammed them between the deck so they would lose that rubbery cement and their rubbery scent.
Mm-hmm.
They did not have rubber cement that I know of. My bad. But they sat out all summer and they're ready to rock. I'm saving them for hunting season so I don't stink them up because today there was some smelly.
I had a pair of mucks on today. And they got smelly. And they're the ones with like the extra insulation. Like you can wear those suckers
in the cold.
In the cold.
Yeah. Those 1,200 grams.
They were a lot. I don't know if they were 1,200.
Did your feet get cold at all? Or?
As a
they were a
guy. Like, I don't care to wear the Crispies. And I don't have any need for that here in the Midwest. I just wear my mucks and stay nice and warm.
I don't think I ever, unless like out ice fishing or something. There's been a couple times when like a negative 20-ish day. Where I'll wear like my Iceman's, like a lacrosse Iceman.
Oh, those are.
Yeah, I mean you can wear one pair of socks in those, but otherwise I always have a pair of mucks.
What do you guys do with socks? Like, I'll bring an extra pair out now because they'll get sweated up on the way, and I'll swap them out.
Yeah,
and I'll use this. I like the Smart Wool or like the merino
wool.
Socks.
Yeah,
those have been good to me,
mm-hmm.
and I'll wear them for 3 days, 4 days straight, or whatever, 4 hunts in a row, and I don't have to wash them.
Mm-hmm.
we used to wear those. They were like thin white. They were just wicking. They're really, really light. And then put wool socks over them. I don't think that helped at all.
I don't know if that helps.
I think wool's supposed to do that.
Right.
But I've definitely, during gun season here in Wisconsin, when it's cold, when you walk in, when it's like anywhere from like
if you're
0
miles
to 20
on, you
degrees,
need to have some other repairs.
when you're walking, I've hiked in my Iceman boots. So like I've walked in hikers in my long underwear, carrying extra pair of boots, socks on my back with all my clothes. And then at the base of my tree, I've taken off the hiker boots.
It's like you've gotten into. It's like you've got
because we sit all day.
It's like you've hiked to your bed and you're like, now it's time to get cozy.
Let's get.
Now I'm gonna get nice and fucking warm for you.
I will tell you.
And then like you play that card, you're like, I'm gonna slide this bitch across the table, and I'm trading this in for warmth for the rest of the day.
Right.
And it's only a matter of time before it starts to like.
But it's a beautiful feeling.
But it's nice
after a long walk. You put on some dry. Warm.
It makes a damn big difference.
And by the time you hike up into your stand, you leave your shit unzipped, you get up there, you're hot. Zip it up, you're good till like.
Dude, you know what I've started
o'clock.
doing? I've started taking my. I'll bring my lightweight. It's a lightish weight camo jacket that I have for bow hunting. I don't use a jacket for the jacket ever. That's why I have my flannel
over the jacket.
But what I do is I take that jacket and I stick my feet into the arms of the jacket. And I wrap the top around my boots and the underneath around my boots. And as I'm on that platform standing, it's like people talk about putting socks over your boots. I do that. I stick my fucking feet into the armpits of the jacket, wrap it around. And that little tiny bit of insulation against the metal, against the wind.
Yeah.
That is like the fucking game changer. If my feet get cold, I'm done. It's over. It's just a matter of the ticking time clock goes off in my brain. I'm like,
oh boy,
how long am I going to deal with this? It's getting worse. And then it's like the self-talk, get down, no, stay up, get down, no, stay up. But if I do that,
one's coming. There's nothing coming.
Yes.
Who are you joking?
And that little, I just bring it for that reason alone. It's a lot.
It's not a bad idea.
And then if I do get cold, I'll switch it out or whatever. But that has changed it. It's because of the sock thing. I'm like, what the fuck am I putting socks on my boots for? My boots are huge. What socks are going on your boots? That's not going to do shit. The jacket, though, is where it's at. Yeah, that's what I think.
And you think about Iceman boots.
Oh, God.
Dude, I do not have large feet, but my Iceman boots are
like you're walking through the woods. They're like 16s, like 16 to 25.
Bigfoot to shame with those.
Well, you met my friend Ben at the Adams wedding. Yeah. Ben, who is notoriously cold because he is 6'7", has terrible circulation. He has Iceman boots. They're larger than my body.
That's why he needs a truck.
I could go into the boot and warm up. It's like a sleeping bag.
It's great to have that, though. Like you do that. I mean, whatever, man. I've done it, and it's not. Probably gives you extra concealment too. I don't know. I'm just making that up.
How excited are we for deer season? We're talking about getting cold on July 16th. That's how excited
my mind is there.
He wants to get away from the bugs. He's about to have a moment again.
I really can't do the bugs. I'm gonna have 2 thermocells this season.
I don't use it. I've never used a thermocell.
Because you're a scent guy. That's the smell of thermocell. I think I made a post about this.
Because they just never worked for me. The bugs are like, good try.
I used to bear hunting and it seemed to work quite a bit. Yeah,
you got to turn it on ahead of time. It's got to be.
They like my blood
too much. It's got to be hot.
So when you stop, it's already doing its thing.
I need 1,000% deep. That's not going to do shit for me.
You're too sweet.
They love me.
They do.
My kid too. My mom. It's the same thing. It's like runs in our family. Like we're hot blooded.
You're right. That's the thing.
And they're like,
when I went turkey hunting with Anthony Heller, I looked at him and he had like thousands of bugs around him. I was like, "Oh my God, are you okay, man?" He's like, "Why aren't they by you?" I was like, "Oh God, stay away from me."
Me and Anthony are in the same boat.
It was wild. I was like, "Something is wrong with you." We get back to the truck. He's like, like the Dave Chappelle, like he's like, I think I need a break. Something happened to my hand. I look at his hand's like puffed up and shit. I was like, "Dude, what happened to you?" He's like, "Yeah, the bugs are really on me, man. I don't know." And we both doused den bug spray, but it didn't work for him.
Yep.
It didn't work great for me, but he had it like literally 10 times worse. I mean, there's like a 10x factor of bugs on him compared to me. I was like, something's wrong with you, man.
Well, those bugs are doing the same thing we're talking about. Like, we're like, oh, it's gonna be too cold. Do I still do it? And the bugs are like, he's got a lot of bugs for him, but I really want it. I'm going for it.
It just takes that one.
Yeah, a dime. I got enough. Go lay my babies.
Go behind his ears. You definitely didn't get bugs for it.
The ears. Those mosquito nets are bullshit. They don't work because it's the buzzing sound that I can't handle.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's worse than the fucking bite.
It's worse.
The whole universe is flying. You fly in my fucking ear. God, fly somewhere else.
But then you have that net on. You got 1,000 of that.
Yeah.
Going on. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, fucking get out of here.
And you're like, they're definitely touching me. I can feel it.
Yeah, try not to hit one.
Don't move.
Yeah. Early season, that's another thing. You're up there, your whole tree's shaking.
There was an early season where me and my two buddies that aren't like really into this at all, I convinced them to go bow hunting in a swamp.
Perfect.
I was like, Eric, what's the plan here? And I was like, fuck you guys, we're out. So we went and got breakfast at Denny's. Just scratching ourselves like a bunch of fiends. I was like, well, never again. I was like, if you really want to enjoy bow hunting, I'm really sorry about that. You should probably come in fall and there's no bugs. That's my fault. I should actually, as someone trying to get people into hunting, that was the worst fucking thing I could have done. I de-recruited people on that one.
Stuff.
There's no D's thrown on those bitches at all. They're like, I'm never doing that again.
When you're having your illusions of grandeur in the summer, like a bout opening day, you always forget the mosquitoes until it just takes one hunt to remind you, that was bad.
Yeah, sometimes they're bad into September, and you're like, what the frick is going on?
Mm-hmm.
That happened when I got the year before that guy, or the year after that guy, Jace came on, he's like, just a video guy. He's like, and I didn't have a stand for him or anything, so I just like, I'm going up in this tree. You gonna be okay? He's like, no, I'm in this bush over here. You just
I'm in this mosquito
swatting
bush.
Mosquitoes. I was like, I mean, really bad. The videographer's got it real rough. That was brutal. I'm gonna see him next week. Good stuff. I don't have anything else to talk to you. I don't want to play that rap song again.
Sure. You kind of like that.
Well, now I kind of do.
No slick, just bought a Cadillac. Throw some D's on that bitch. Just bought a Cadillac. Throw some D's on that bitch. Just bought a Cadillac. I never slip, I never fall. A lot of hoes give me their numbers, but I never call. A real OG, look at VIP and see a nigga ball. Then after we hit the club, baby, I'ma hit them draws. Yeah, I'ma break you off. And that's all. Every freak should have a picture of my dick. On their walls. Polo be the shits, on 4 be the click, yeah, just for my dog. Yeah, gangsters, hustlers, wanksters, busters. Wait a minute, motherfucker. Rich boy, sell it quick, broke niggas wanna check shit tight, no